Hello and welcome to Inside and Alive with Laura Davis, who will be joining me in just a minute. Hello, welcome Stephen, you're the first in the room. Welcome to Inside and Alive, which is originally it was going to be a talk show about all the times that we got home safe from gigs, didn't die. But now it is something different because of the lockdown, and that's how the world changes. I'm going to stick up my little sign. Oh, hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm trying to put this at a place where everyone can see it. There we
Am I the
go.
right way up?
You are the right way up. You're perfectly the right way up. If someone says, I hope you're well, are you well?
Yes. Yeah, I am. In New Zealand, we're going to level 2 in a couple of days. I was in the Botanic Gardens for my walk, and at 4 o'clock they had the press conference, and everybody got out their phones and listened to it. So it was sort of reverberating off dozens and dozens of tiny little speakers as everybody sort of tuned in to find out if we're allowed to go to the shops or not.
I like your vest. A great
Thank
vest.
you. Just Nick that James has been putting it on for all of his Zoom meetings, so I thought I'd do the same, so I look just as professional.
You look very professional.
Holding me back.
So what has been going on today other than the level 2 announcement? What does that mean for you?
For me, it means that because there are mostly no new cases, they're keeping the borders closed, which means I can't go anywhere. I don't think clubs or shows or anything are happening, but retail will open again because unlike in Australia and the UK, retail's been completely shut. And restaurants and things like that will be able to open again. So, not weirdly, I think I will find that more challenging to watch everybody else go back to normal, but I have no way out of a country I don't live in, and now I feel like I'm the only
The only
only
one
one.
living in a weird sort of isolation zone. Yeah, that's a really
Monday is one.
interesting. Well, I had the thing today where somebody asked me if I wanted to meet up for a cup of tea later in the week, which is now a legal thing to do. Uh, but he lives in the city and we're colleagues, but not necessarily close friends. And I sort of feel like, why would I waste leaving the house on you when there are people who are more important to me? It was a very surreal feeling of sort of not
Mm,
wanting to go out for that.
yes, yeah, it's the same feeling that people in the UK are experiencing of why the fuck am I going to work when I'm not allowed at a funeral or I can't see my mum, but I'm allowed to go make money for my boss. I'm just gonna get a cushion.
You're allowed a cushion
I need
as a
it.
little
I'm not.
treat.
I'm not tall enough.
Oh, I got a spiky mat on your recommendation.
Oh, good.
That's a great thing. Spiky mat. So spiky. Hey.
Cheers to the spiky mat. It was one of those. Look, this is not an endorsed post. I don't care what brand you buy. Um, but it was definitely one of those Instagram sort of online digital marketing things where you're like, that surely doesn't work and there's not a good thing, but they're great. I love it.
Spiky mat.
Yes, I left the phone bit of it in London though when I
Sam Streeter says, what
traveled.
is the purpose of a spiky mat?
You lay on it and it stabs all of your skin and it hurts and draws all the blood to the surface, which presumably also brings it through the muscle. So it's sort of the same principle, I guess, as applying heat or tiger balm or anything like that. But
Acupuncture or massage or whatever. It's just sort of moving it around. I also have been using it as a sound shield filter from my microphones when I'm recording podcasts.
that's why I should. When I travel, I take the foam out so it's not so bulky. So
Well,
I got a down shield. I'm in a wardrobe like an idiot. Um, Oh Lord. Yes, we go to level 2, but I don't think my day to day
I don't
will
think the spikes
change a
help
lot.
with the audio, by the
Nothing.
way.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of, yeah, it's a very odd and surreal thing at the moment, in that I feel totally fine about seeing members of my family or close friends. But even though you're technically allowed to sort of see anyone, go for a
Mm.
walk with anyone, it feels, yeah, almost like a waste.
And look, I don't want to be too candid here, but I don't know how mental I've gone. Like, I want some people who know me well enough to give me a reading. I want a score out of 100 for the first couple of conversations, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, you want to be with someone who you can go, is this what a smile looks like? And they can tell
yeah,
you, no.
yes. I mean, or I just only meet new people, and that's just what you get now.
Yeah, this is the new you,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
the new normal. That's what they've been talking about, right?
that is what, yeah. My baby niece has sort of discovered nostalgia to a certain extent. So my twin brother is, a musician. He doesn't do music anymore. He's a full-time looker after of a baby, but he had a song that he would sing when he was changing her nappy. And then he updated the song quite recently to a more up-tempo, slightly different tune, similar words, but not all the same words. A lot of words about changing nappies. Uh, and so sometimes she's in the mood for the new song, and sometimes she's like, old song, please. Like, I would like the old song. Let's
Classic
remember the
hit.
past.
I'm glad that story wasn't as sad as it sounded of like it horrific murderous pandemic causes 18-month-old to experience.
Nostalgia for the good times. Uh, I should learn it on the banjo. Yes, I could do that, but it would be ripping off my brother's musical stylings, and I don't want to steal his thunder. Also, I'm
Yes,
not
or
sure how many audiences would connect to the classic material of Nappy Change Time now.
it might be a viral hit. That's good. That's fine. Hello, Sam. I have to say thank you to Sam Streeter because she sent me about a 3-month supply of twisties and cheezels because I complained on Instagram before that the ones in New Zealand have a weird taste. Um, so now I have a nice big box of crunchy things to take out and eat in the woods. So,
Sam
they
Streeter
probably,
is just everyone's fairy godmother right now, I think.
yes, yes. So I don't know when I'm going to be allowed out of this country. It's a very nice country, grateful to be in it. Very weird to not. I did not pack to start a new life. That's just basically what it comes down to.
Well, at level 2, will you be able to go clothes shopping?
I hope so. Yes. Um. Yeah, it's been a bit of an identity crisis to walk around wearing. I'm walking around the woods dressed like my husband going to a nightclub in 2003. Like that's and it's been what 2 months of that.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, my clothes have started to break down quite badly for some, because I buy clothes relatively rarely. They've all come
Yes,
due
and
at
you get
once.
mine. I mean, I've got usually I give you mine when I grow out of them, as I do. But you can have James's nightclub clothes from 2003. I'll mail them to you.
Thank you. Yeah, there's been times where we've met up and I've sort of suddenly realized that everything I'm wearing you gave me.
Yes, the most alarming
Which is
is
good because
when
you've got good taste for me.
great taste for everybody, but my husband also wears my clothes because we're about the same size and I have great style. And there have been times where you, myself, and him have met up, and I've looked around and everyone is wearing my clothes. You've got my clothes from 2015, and he's got the ones. James very graciously gave me one of my shirts a couple of
Oh.
days ago. I went downstairs in it, and he said, "Oh, hun, that looks better on you. You should keep that one. Thank you for my shirt." It's petty arguments, but put them on the list.
Precision is important
Just,
in the.
just a revelation of that shirt of mine looks better on you. It's because it's mine.
Oh, I mean, that's
This is
pretty good.
revenge.
Yeah. So you were saying we were talking earlier today that you've been looking at a lot of snails.
Yeah, just for something to do. Um, I need a lot of time in my own head to be okay. Um, and I usually get that walking places. And so even though I have nowhere to go, usually I get that time if I'm just going somewhere. But I'm doing
Hey,
laps like a
Tish.
madman. Hey dear, just just a good couple of hours a night of the block in circles. So
Ah, see, I'm not so good at circles. I have to have an end point, even if it's I'm going to stand on that hill and look at that view.
yes,
I'm not good at doing a circuit. I have to go somewhere and come back.
it's about a 20-minute circuit. It's quite a big block. It takes about 20 minutes. Um, and I've just got a time goal instead. I've tried to work out that sort of work, but I agree with you. It's much nicer to have a point. But we weren't allowed to travel out far from the house for such a long time that I didn't want to get stopped by cops and me, where are you walking? This isn't your postcode. I'm just Angela, I'm walking towards the sea. best best.
Somebody said, "How did you two meet?" I think we've told this story on Inside and Alive
Mm.
before, uh, which was I was meeting other friends at a Melbourne comedy festival, sort of post show meetup situation, and I ate some of Laura's noodles, and she's been trying
She
to get her
still is.
revenge ever since.
Yes.
I think at that time she didn't realize my that it was not a unidirectional taking of noodles, that I'm quite happy to also offer noodles in return.
Yes, it's all good now. At the time though, I was very poor and I'd like allowed myself the noodles. And then you came and ate them and I was like, oh no. Oh, this can't be good. I don't know how to say please stop eating the noodles. It's all right, I'm not hungry.
It's okay. I thought they were table noodles.
Yes. Well, they are quite big places. I miss I'm still gutted about um not being in Melbourne for food. For a couple of weeks
Food
I
and the
haven't.
company of
Yeah.
Melbourne.
Yeah, it's a weird place. I feel like I'm homesick for like 4 or 5 different places
Yeah,
at all
and
times.
particular dishes at particular places, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting in life. I feel like I'm very much a person who has a comfort zone who is constantly out of it. Like doing stand up and traveling and meeting lots of people is all fundamentally against who I am. And yet it's what you do. It's sort of similar. My mum has a huge fear, or she had, still does, a bad fear of public speaking, yet went and studied to be a teacher because that pushed her. And my brother always hated blood and gore, or like couldn't stand the sight of blood or anything icky. He's a doctor now who only deals with that.
That's
And it's
funny.
funny.
I was too proud growing up, I think, and I was very afraid of being made to look a fool or to being humiliated. And yet I've chosen the job of court
Yeah,
jester.
yeah, funny. It looked like you're trying to learn something or, balance yourself out somehow. Find the bit that's missing. But yeah, that's okay. It's not like I've, coupled my identity to my career at any point and now, free falling into an abyss of non personhood. It's fine.
No, no. Yeah, Sam Streeter says there's a power in stand up. Yes, yeah, it's a very I guess there's always a tension in stand-up between the fact that you are vulnerable and you are also in control, like a
Mm,
good blowjob. Uh, there's the thing that looks like you're in control, you're not in control, and the thing that it looks like you're not in control of, you actually are.
there's a lot of layers.
There's so many layers.
It's a weird thing, yeah. I think that was what made me not good at it, but resilient at it was I could be very vulnerable on stage because I will also fight you. And there's a status and a power to challenging people to take a shot. Um, yeah, it's weirdly for an atheist reminds me of the sort of turn the other cheek uh, Bible. Is it a line in the Bible? What do they call a line? Good good bit in the Bible. Good,
Proverb quote.
yeah, of you know, to give people another
Come
chance to
on,
attack
take another
you.
shot.
Well, but we'll also show more about them than it does you.
Yeah, Jared McKenna, who is my nice preachy Perth Christian friend, talks about how the turn the other cheek maxim or proverb or whatever it
Mm,
is was more aggressive and more of a joke in that format than a lot of people take it to mean. A lot of people
mm,
take it to mean just accept the punishment and then accept the next punishment that comes along. But
yeah,
it's not quite that. It's sort of like, oh yeah, come on, do it again.
yeah, yeah. I feel like that is getting up on stage and going, "Hello, I'm like this. What do you think? Are you having a good stag do?" Ugh,
Do
not my favorite.
you miss stag do's?
No, no, it's interesting. I love stand up. I love doing it. I miss so much of it horribly, but the bits that I don't miss, I really still. I thought maybe there'd be a point where I go, but I'd even kill to go and do a gig in Worcester to a bunch of drunk hens and stags, but not yet. Maybe it's a year away. I don't know, but hasn't hasn't gotten to that.
Yeah. Well, I'm facing the fact that, as Australia opens up, there'll probably be some rooms and venues that open up, even if in a limited way, and which ones I would want to go back to. Because I didn't necessarily burn bridges when I left,
Mm.
but I think I internally burned those bridges. There was a little bit of that when I was leaving, of like, you know, I I'm never going to do that room again, just in my head. Uh,
I'm so bad at that. I'm so bad at leaving places. I get very upset if I think that I won't be somewhere again, even if it's just a park I've been to once or a restaurant that was fine. Like, yeah, cutting stuff out. I don't like.
I think
I
maybe I might be the opposite. I think I'm usually quite happy to walk away from things, and maybe too
mm,
happy to walk away from things. Um, of just like, oh well, no more of that ever again. Not going to talk to that person
yeah.
ever again.
Whereas I think I'll do things that I don't like just so that they're still there on the table. Like there are rooms, if we keep it to that, then there are comedy clubs that I hate and they don't treat me well and the gigs are awful and I don't get paid nicely and it's a scary walk to my car and there's like layers and layers and layers and layers and layers, but if you told me it burned down, I'd be devastated. That makes
Well, it
sense.
they just shut down the cafe lounge room in Sydney.
Oh,
Cafe
you
lounge,
like
the
them?
whole. that was a really nice room. That was a really
Mm.
nice, friendly, sort of hipster but not intimidating venue to do. And again, like so many odd comedy rooms, should the shape of the room, so you can often walk into a comedy club and know why it will not work. That the
Mm-hmm.
venue is set up wrongly, the stage is in the wrong direction, the lighting is wrong, the vibe is wrong, it's too something. And then there are some places that are really idiosyncratic and shouldn't work, but seem to somehow always work.
Yes.
And Cafe Lounge was like that. It was split right down the middle, and you had one side of an audience, and another. So you had essentially playing to two separate parallel audiences. But for some reason, it really worked.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I disgraced myself there one night because I got there really early, like a few hours early, because I hadn't been there. I didn't know the venue. I was hosting. I had nowhere else to go, so I turned up early and had too many drinks flirting with the bartenders. And then the first bracket was me doing great. Second bracket, I was way too drunk, and third bracket was just me sobering up and apologizing for everything. And come back up and they go, look, hello, I know what's happened, but I sobered up. Let's bring this home. Awful. But that was a
Yeah,
lovely one.
it's sort of sad that has gone, and it'll be interesting to see which places open up again, and after all of this is gone, if it does go away.
Yeah,
Let's talk
yes,
about
very.
something more cheerful.
Ah! I feel like every conversation I'm having about it is like, yeah, because everything's this and this and then, oh, but actually, oh god, oh no, oh fuck.
Quick, quick, pull
Look
back from
how
the
grey
abyss. We're
I'm
meant to be
going.
entertainers.
Look how grey I'm going. It's the
Oh,
stress.
that's good. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about getting highlights.
No, they're there now. It's it happened over the week, the first week. Oh, and there's a comment. I come to Adelaide. I would love to come to Adelaide. My favorite. I really love Adelaide. I haven't gotten to spend huge amounts of time there. I've only done the Fringe one time myself, and then I visited following year. But the Adelaide Botanic Gardens is one of the nicest ones. It really is beautiful. Very good panetum. Some great features. Really like the rainforest simulator. Brilliant, brilliant gardens. Um,
Yes, really nice place, Adelaide, I think. Um,
yeah.
although again, I think my familiarity with it is mainly festival based, and
Mm,
I worry about making a judgment of a city based on the festival within it.
yes. Yeah, it's funny. I think I've mentioned this before, but I know things are dire when I start to get homesick for cities I've never lived in, just because they're a little bit more normal than where I am. Like I get in London a lot. I wish I was just in Hobart. And I love Hobart. It's like I love it. Tasmania is incredible, but I've never lived there, and I shouldn't be sort of wistfully sighing out the window in London, going, I wish I was just somewhere with a gum tree. Don't care where it is. Just you know,
Um, Bob
drop
said
me.
he bought a necklace. That makes you one of 10 people so far, Bob. I just put my necklaces back on sale this afternoon, but only to my Patreon subs because we've got a very limited supply at the moment. Thank you for buying a necklace, Bob. That will feed me. Someone says you probably find it very sleepy outside the festival. I don't mind a sleepy city.
Pancakes though, and so many bakeries. I stayed in Goodwood with Craig Egan, and I was there for 2 3 weeks or something, I think. And they had a peach tree out the front of the house that was covered in peaches, and a bakery at the end of the street,
That
and I
is
just
the
had the best
thing.
time.
Okay, that
The
is the
best
thing
time.
about Adelaide that I remember the most. All of the times that I've stayed there for the festival, I've stayed with my cousin Alice Gorman, the space scientist. She's a space archaeologist, and I've stayed at various other places. But there has been nowhere in Adelaide that I have stayed that hasn't featured some sort of fruit tree nearby that you can just grab something off. One time it was
Yeah,
figs, one time it was pomegranates. Like, just what a
great.
great thing!
It's good growing climate.
Yeah,
And
for
going
just
out to
for
Harndorf, the
fecund.
little German village. Great.
I once got asked to do a bus tour of wineries by someone who was organizing gigs during the festival. And you'd go between wineries and do 5 minute spots. Uh, and I said, "Oh, cool. What does it pay?" And he said, "Oh, it pays in wine." And I said, "Oh, I don't drink." And he said, "Why don't you try for the afternoon?"
And just have a go.
Just have a go.
I did a gig in Adelaide at the Slug and Lettuce, which was a long drive out, and I did it with Phil Kay. It was Phil Kay, myself, Lindsay Webb, and uh, Jared Fell, a magician, and we all got in this tiny little car with Chris and drove out, and there was nobody there. Uh, it was it was two or three people in the crowd, and people were like, "Oh, this is a British pub. This is a Slug and Lettuce. This is the British pub." I remember going and going, "Oh, it can't be like a real British pub. There's no people in it." And then I did do some Slug and Lettuces in England. Oh, they're the same. They are the same. It's a gig to nobody. While two people eat a microwave steak.
I did a Day gig out in the middle of nowhere with Julia Wilson. Uh, and I
Great
thought,
lady.
who is going to come? And it was one of those really fun rural New South Wales gigs where you're staying above the pub in a very kind of colonial building, and there's something very charming and decrepit about it. And I thought, who is going to come to a Valentine's Day gig at the pub? And it was like everyone was there. It was wildly popular thing coming out to watch. And again, it was that thing of people who've never seen female comedians before and were really like fascinated by the whole prospect of women being allowed to do comedy. And of course, Julia Wilson she was sort of emceeing, as it were. And then I
Brilliant.
did a bit. Hmm? She
She's
just
brilliant.
blew the roof off it, and they were so lovely and it was so nice. But I spent the whole drive up there going, "Oh, this is going to be why did I agree to do this? This is going to be a nightmare."
Yeah, but people live out there. That's the thing that
Yeah,
people in cities forget is that you can drive out and there are people, but yeah, there's so many. You go out and it's like a cafe in the woods. Yeah. Who's coming? Oh, everyone. Great.
yeah.
Let's go.
Absolutely everyone. They're just shining a torch on this, just
Yeah.
shining one of those flashlights and a lamp on the stage, and you're sort of dazzled in one eye and boggling out the other, and it's just a brilliant, brilliant, wonderful gig.
I still think the guiding principle of stand up is hold your ground. Lucky knees. Do your time. Get your money. Don't let
If
them scared.
we should wrap this up. Um,
Yes.
this here, paypal.me/inside and alive, is the place that you can go to give money to this little project, the Inside and Alive project, which is to say Laura Davis and
Oh,
me,
be
Alice
so nice to
Fraser.
do it properly next year in Edinburgh or something.
I cannot wait to be back on stage with you and doing this kind of gig. If you come and see it live, which I hope you will at some point in the future, it's a little bit more structured than this, but it is, as you see, just a celebration of our. What
I
is
brought
that?
it's the embodiment of charity. It's charity. It's to remind people of the importance of kindness and love.
Oh,
I sleep under it now.
oh no.
There it is.
Well, people can embody charity in themselves by going to paypal.me/inside and alive. If you want to, if you can, if you have some hot money burning a hole in your pocket, um, that you have earned sinfully in some way. Um,
Oh yeah, if you have anything that you'd like to launder, please.
All right, Laura, I will talk to you again soon. And thank you,
Bye. Thanks
everybody. I'll see
everybody.
you
Thanks
again
for
tonight.
watching.
I'm going to finish it in the traditional way. Thumbs on cameras. Bye.